colorful aura, like I got neon.
Hello.
Hi, boo.
Good to see you.
Hey, lovely. How you doing?
No, I'm here.
Right. What can we do?
Just living, trying to,
You cute.
girl, it's all you can do is try to be during this time. There's nothing else to do but makeup right now.
I know. I already know.
But I am very, very, very excited to be able to interview you.
I'm excited too.
And I really enjoyed this way of interviewing because it's so interesting, right? Like get to sit and talk with each other about things that are very important in our lives as well as what we're doing in our lives. So let's just start with you, right?
hmm
Who is the official Busy Brown Girl?
Busy is a lot of things. Busy is an author. Busy is a socialite. I'm always at events, as you know, supporting people. I'm really big on supporting people and their endeavors. So, because I want it in return, and I don't just do it because I want people to reciprocate. I do it because I know how it feels to lack support. So I support a ton of events. What else? I'm a mentor to a beautiful group of young girls. At Lindop Elementary School in Broadview. I also mentor in like 7 other CPS schools. But yeah, that's me. And busy is a befitting name because I'm always busy. I'm always doing something, whether it's writing, um, hosting events, going to events, mentoring. I have a YouTube channel. I just try to stay productive, you know.
And you write.
Yeah.
Now, I think
hmm
that before we go into you as an author, as far as you being a mentor, how is the coronavirus situation affecting your relationship with your girls?
Well, recently my job just launched a virtual setting. So versus us, because we usually, of course, meet with them in person every week. But now it's kind of hard for them to have the same atmosphere that we kind of create with our mentoring program. So now we're just working on transitioning into this virtual world and trying to make this a norm now. So we still hold our same sessions every week. Um, of course, they're younger, so they're like, we don't want to like get on Zoom every week and like talk,
Right.
So we still trying to get them comfortable with that and everything. But they love it nonetheless. We try to make it comfortable and personable. Miss Mimi is always available, and they know that. So
Yes, Miss Mimi. So, yeah, I know that that's been definitely difficult, but it is good that you are able to still work with the teens, or you work with teens, or you said elementary school, right?
it's right now it's fifth through. My oldest mentee is a senior in high school. She's 18. She just turned 18.
Okay, so from elementary school on up, you're interviewing
hmm
these teens and these young girls. What exactly are you mentoring them for?
Where the organization that I work with is called College Mentoring Experience. So initially, the initial purpose is to prepare them for college, even in 5th and 6th grade, just to get them familiar with the conversation. And other than that, like our sessions can be about anything from academics to personal life, friends to family, whatever it is that they may need to be poured into them, we go for it. So it's not like we do have some sort of criteria that we do have to meet, just like any other program. But outside of the criteria and the bullet points that we have to touch on each session, it's really just a big sister, little sister environment. Like they literally think I'm their sister, not just their, Miss Mimi. Like they have my phone number. So
Right.
they call me and they text me and they send me pictures and GIFs and all types of stuff. So we try to create this environment where they feel like if they can't go to their parent or their teacher, they can come to Miss Mimi or my colleague. So honestly, the conversation expands beyond just college preparation.
That's what's up. I'm glad
Yeah.
you are one of many. I've always wanted to get into mentorship and things like that. So trying to figure that out. But was this before you started writing, or was this something that came after?
I've always been some sort of a mentor. Like I've always had either one younger girl or like a group of girls that I would check in on and kind of like subconsciously mentor them.
Mm-hmm.
But the writing came first. I wrote my first book, and then after the book was published, a family friend who is the CEO of the organization that I work with, he was like, the message in the book, in my first book, was so like relevant that I might as well just come on and join the team and like be a
Right.
mentor, right? So I'm like, okay, it's nothing that outside of my what I do anyway. So I'm like, okay, I'll go for it. And I didn't know that it was going to have such an impact on me because I love it. Like I literally, when I say I miss my kids, I miss my kids. Like I miss them so freaking much. And the book just adds on to the impact because most of the girls have my book, if not both of my books. And they read it and they come back to me like, oh, Miss Mimi, I didn't know you did this, or I didn't know you say this, or you do this and all this other stuff. So I'm like, yeah, it kind of opens them up to a more relatable side of me and not just Miss Mimi, the mentor.
Right. So is Losses and Gains a book about personal experience, or is it more of just like a general, here, I want to give you guys my message type of thing?
Okay, so the first one is Brown Girl Proverb, and that one was a memoir. That one is all in. That one is life experiences, lessons, a whole bunch of personal stuff. Most of it is personal, and not just my own personal experiences, but experiences of people that I know. Just witnessing stuff from the outside looking in, and just feeling the need to share it and hope that it will resonate with somebody in some way, shape, or form. Now, Losses and Gains, that's more of like an urban fiction um, experience, I would say. I'm really big on like Sister Soldier and Terry
So,
McMillan. And yeah, I'm like,
yeah,
I love all the Black female writers, and they be juicy. They talk about everything, and I'm really here for it. I love gritty books. Like I love ghetto books. I love all types of stuff. So urban fiction was kind of a route that I wanted to go to in the beginning,
Mhm.
but something spiritually just told me to write Brown Girl Proverb first. But Losses and Gains was so fun to write. It's fun to read too. It's about this young girl. Of course, she's from the west side of Chicago,
Period.
and and yeah, so she's a young girl. She's 18 years old. Her name is Tootie. Um, her real name is Tiffany Gaines, which is why the title is Losses and Gains. And throughout the story, she kind of goes through the ups and downs of wanting a relationship, not wanting a relationship, finally being in a relationship, and then of course family issues that everybody can relate to. Um, and then finding herself. So she's on a self pilgrimage as well in the midst of all of this.
Mhm.
And I think the fact that it's staged in Chicago and the lingo and everything is embedded in the book is a real easy read for a lot of people, especially if you're from Chicago. You know what she's saying. You know the tone of voice. You know the area, so you can picture it. And that's kind of what I wanted to do: give people a visual and not just words. So it's kind of like you watching a TV show or something like that.
Okay, so once coronavirus stuff hit my account, the right way, I'll be able to buy the book. Oh my
Yep, they're
God,
on
brother!
both Amazon and my website, browngirlproverb.com. Um, I think right now Amazon's kind of slowed down, but you can still order it on there. But everything's slowed down right now.
Right, that's true. I mean, but it's not too bad. You can order something, and I had ordered me a little special situation,
Hmm.
fine, and I was like, dang, it's gonna be a week, but it came in like 3 days.
Yeah, like they try to do it so that you don't expect it as soon as you would if we
Right,
wasn't going through this. Yeah.
right. So to me, I guess that the Sister Soldier might be one of the most um, relatable books to what you wrote.
Yeah.
Okay. What gave you? Why the nickname Tootie? Where did that come from? Like, what were you doing? What were you doing when you came up with the concept for this book?
um, a lot of the names in the book are kind of remixes to names that I already knew. So my family nickname is Pootie.
Oh,
So Tootie, and I didn't want to use my nickname, so I just used Tootie. And I also have a cousin that calls me Tootie as well. But the character is very loosely based off of me, but I use some parts of my personality and things like that, and the way that she talks and gets around as well. But yeah, like a lot of the characters, like the mom, she was like a combination of like all of my favorite women put into one, all of my favorite Black women put into one woman. So she's kind of like Superwoman to me, because all of like even fictional characters like Claire Huxtable, she's like my favorite person on TV ever, especially TV mom. So like her, Jennifer Lewis, I love her because she's so wild and crazy, and
Right.
you know, as old as she is, even though she's not that old, she's very vocal, and I love that. So yeah, and of course my mom, my grandma, a lot of women in my life. And I don't know, as far as like my writing process, typically everybody's writing process is different. I've befriended a lot of authors to this point, and they all have a different like process story, and mine is really just sit down and write. Like that's really my, it's hard for me to really get a good story when I'm thinking so hard about it. So the best tactic for me is to just sit down, and I have a really big imagination, so it's not hard for me to come up with something crazy or like extremely dramatic and you know stuff like that. So it's not a long process, but that's the setting I have to be in for me to really get a good story. So that's what I did with Losses and Gains, and that's what I'm doing now with part 2 to it. So I'm excited for that too.
That sounds awesome. I'm excited for all of it because when I was reading the little Zane books and books,
Girl.
I've only read one Zane book, and I've only read Coldest Winter Ever.
Oh, that's my favorite. Coldest Winter Ever.
For me, I was just like, you know, and I did read them as an adult. You know, I was in college when I first got a chance to read these books. So
Okay.
I'm sitting here, girl, reading this stuff. I'm like, you can write like this? You know, I didn't think that was a thing that you would see in books, you know?
Yeah.
So it's a very exciting thing because it takes erotica into a very sensual place. You know,
Yeah.
read books, you want to be able to see yourself in the story, right? Like I'm listening to a Audible right now of Michelle Obama, of her book Becoming, and I'm literally living. I'm walking with her. I'm laughing with her, experiencing hate and anger and aggression with her. So now you're a person who's writing a book or who has written a book that does that same thing, you know, but in a very ding 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 type of way. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be PG-13 on here, but well, actually I'm being PG.
Oh no, the books are not PG-13, so you don't have to be PG-13. I say just how you talk to me when you talk to me. That's how I write. So nothing
So
about
it's
them
like
is.
that first line of the Soldier book when she said, "I popped out of my mama's pussy."
Oh yes, oh yes. The language, because the thing is, I didn't want to separate Mimi the person and Mimi the author. Like I wanted them to be one in the same, so people don't feel like, oh, she wrote a book, I gotta talk to her a certain way. Because people think like that. Like people think, oh, you are author, you have some sort of like stature, so I can't really communicate with you on a regular level. And it's like, girl, no. I'm the same. If you meet me at the corner store, I'm gonna say talk to you the same way if you meet me at a book expo. It's the same, you know, energy. So that's kind of what I was scared of, because I didn't want people to feel like they weren't, I wouldn't accept them into my bubble because I wrote a book. So the same energy you get when you talk to me, girl, and I got a mouth on me. So like I'm very vulgar. I'm very transparent. I have no shame in it. That's kind of how I got most of my audience that I got now. And I'm grateful for it. So it's just a matter of me being 100% authentic in every, you know, aspect of my life.
So do you feel that all authors who, in general, I guess, should be authentic in everything that they do? Or is it okay if somebody, kind of like how with the music thing, right? You have people who do it just because they want to be famous and they really have a true passion for it. They just see the money.
Yeah.
You feel that authors should have that genuine attitude towards what they're writing and giving to the world?
Yes, absolutely. Not the thing with art, like being a creative person, even though writing and music kind of, I don't know, they kind of interchange because you got to write the lyrics and still have a message that needs to be heard and sent. with writers, most of our communication process is literally based off of the person and the book. So we don't have any music to help you understand what's going on. We don't have any visuals to help you understand what's going on. Some of the time, if you're an animator and you have like no pictures and graphics, but if you're just a text-based writer like myself, like I don't have like pictures and things in my books. It's just words and paper. So the ability to like grab somebody's attention has to be based off of how well you write and how easy you can communicate a message. And in order to do that, you literally have to be like this transparent person. You have to be this creative person. You have to find ways to grab somebody's attention with just your words. And I think as a writer, the best way to practice that and get better with that with each whatever it is that you write, even if you're a blogger or whatever it is that you do, you have to implement that into your real life. You have to be just as open, just as transparent, just as colorful and everything. It has to like intertwine because honest to God, like I've read books that I'm like, I know nobody sat here and read this boring. Like I know you didn't write this boring ass book.
I read
Like
some boring ass shit.
yes, like, and I'm just sitting here like, if the writing is like this, imagine what the person is like. Like you just gotta it all gotta connect. Like there's no separation. That's why Mimi and Mimi the author and Mimi the whoever, and we all the same person. Like same energy all the way around.
And that's very true because I can see it in your presence on Instagram, you know, like
Yeah.
whether you're feeling up, you're feeling down, left or right, you know, you get all of that energy, but you can always bring it back and attach
Yeah.
it, make it happen.
Yeah.
You
Yep.
know, it's not like idle thoughts just sit
Yeah.
on your page. Everything is like, look, but regardless, I'm gonna go ahead and post this on YouTube, or I'm gonna go ahead and do a little giveaway for some small businesses since people don't want to support small businesses.
Yeah.
You know? So you're very intentional with everything that you do, and I've
Yeah.
like always really appreciated that about you, even with, you know, our personal interactions and how you're like, no, I'm coming to the social, I'm turning up, I'm bringing at least one friend with me. So, and it's stuff like that that makes it feel a lot more genuine coming from the author. Do you ever see your work going into film?
Actually, yeah. At first, my like while writing it, no. But the more feedback I get, I've gotten some people that actually like write films and plays and stuff like that. And they're like, you know, this could be a movie. Or like Lost is a Game. So like, oh, this could be a TV show. This could be a movie. Or this would be a cool like play concept. And in my head, I'm like, off rip, I'm okay. Like, I don't think about it like that. I'm just writing, honestly. Like, I don't think about what it could be just yet. I'm just trying to like get it out now. So when people come up to me and they have all these like different ideas, I'm grateful and I'm appreciative of it. I'm like, wow, you think so highly of my work that it could get to this level. But then I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. You know, when you like get information and you're not ready to process it yet. That's how I feel when people bring that, like the idea to me of translating my writing into film and stuff like that. It hasn't like processed yet, even though I would love for it to happen. It's just kind of like, really, Mimi? Like you could have a show, like you have a movie, like, you know,
So
and that happens with
which way
every.
would you go, though? Would you go show or series, or movie or series?
Probably series. And the reason I say that is because it has more longevity than a movie. Even though it could be a banging ass movie, you know, like it could be the movie.
But I can see you as a series. That's why I asked that question.
Yeah.
You saying that you have so much creativity and all of these thoughts and
exactly
that might come to you, like even if you wrote your book, right? You're like, damn, I should have put that in there. This really the story could have kind of like the Bandersnatch on Netflix. You know how it's like endless possibilities for that. So you could literally have a show like Game of Thrones, because Game of Thrones, oh my, I'm still crying that there are no more episodes.
Look, my dad is such a Game of Thrones fan. Like, he was hurt. He's like, I haven't gotten into it, but I can see why it's so, like, people get hooked. I can see that. And that's what I want with my series, if I was to have one. Was to, like, give them, I have too many ideas, like you said. Like, I can't just stick to one one like end all be all. It's gonna be like episode 2 is nothing like episode 1. Episode 4 is nothing like episode 10. Like that would be the route I would go.
How do you deal with the pressures of people not liking your product? If you've had any,
I
like,
was just gonna say, like, I'm not the type of person. Like, thank God, I'm not so conscious about people's response.
mm-hmm.
I'm more so thinking about when this does hit the market or when this does hit the public, the people that are going to receive it, I want them to receive it 100%.
Right.
Like, I'm not even thinking like, oh man, well, somebody don't like what I write. Because if that was the case, I wouldn't have wrote my first book. Because my first book, honey, it's a lot of things you might not like in this book, but it's a lot of people. So in this moment that it's already, whose lives is already changed. So
Okay.
that, hearing that and knowing the impact that I have already, very rarely do I sit and ponder on whether or not somebody is going to be receptive of my writing. And I'm grateful to be like that because a lot of creatives aren't. Like a lot of creatives, they sit and think like, I'm not going to put this out if somebody doesn't like it, or I'm not going to put this out if it's going to start any type of friction or
Mm-hmm.
conflict. And I don't know. I don't have the ability to think like that because I'm such a in your face type of person. I'm a
Right.
Virgo. So it's like I'm very like you're gonna get it how you get it, and that's really it. Like so, and I don't want it to stunt any creative intent because the more you sit and think about who's going to accept you and who's not,
Mm-hmm.
you stop creating and you don't even notice that you stopped. And then the creating, even if you continue to create, it's not authentic anymore. It's, you're a puppet master now. Like people have control over everything that you put out, and you could be missing out on a really big opportunity that involves you to be 100%, and you're only given 50, 60 because of what A, B, and C is doing and saying. I don't got time for that. Like
Exactly.
I got things to do. I got too much in me, God given, that I can't allow myself to just stop when somebody says they don't like something.
Right. Okay. Makes all the sense. So when it comes to moments where you take breaks, right? Because you took a social media break.
Yeah.
What did that do for you, honestly, on the level of like on the level of FOMO,
Hmm.
and then on the level of, but I really need this?
Yeah.
Like, how did you balance those two on the seesaw?
Well, first off, giving up social media is easier than you think. Like a lot of people think, oh, social media is like everybody's life. But when you take it out of your life, you realize you have a life and you don't really need social media like that. So it was relieving because I used to get a lot of pressure to always be on all the time. Like post something, reveal something, announce something, market something on social media, because I feel like if I'm one of those people, if I don't utilize every tool, I feel like I'm useless. Like I feel like I'm not doing enough work. So giving up social media in that for that month, it allowed me to just appreciate my time as just me and not busy, because we don't understand that even when we take on like nicknames and titles like that, it kind of puts a lot of responsibility on us to be that person or that image. Like people calling me busy is cute, but it's like they didn't call me busy for nothing. They call me busy because I'm always busy. So now I feel like I got to keep up the busy aspect and always be doing something when really it's draining and I'm not really giving enough attention to Mimi, to Jermesha. So in that time, I did feel a little guilty because I'm like, I wasn't writing, I wasn't doing anything going to go towards my business. I was really just like on one. Like I went from 10 to 1 on purpose because I wanted to force myself to chill. I
Okay.
don't chill enough. So I'm like, don't pick up a pen and paper. Don't don't do anything. Just take sleep 13 hours if you want
Oh,
to.
that
Just
sounds so good though, right? Like,
yeah, oh my God.
let's just embrace.
Just be. Yeah, like it's don't pick up calls, don't answer no emails, like just be a person on the planet. Like that's it. So it allowed me to breathe, and I didn't know I needed it that bad because when I came out of it and I like came back on social media, it was easier for me to maneuver through it. It wasn't the pressure anymore. Like now I could still log off of social media and be fine.
Right.
And then log back on and still get the traction that I need for my business. So I'm still learning like the balance of being available all the time and just being available to myself more.
Right.
So yeah.
And I feel that because sometimes like I'll be like, okay, I posted this many times today, I'm gonna stop. But it's like the moment you get the message from somebody, my hand literally cramps up like, should I not? And it's like I throw the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, I'm seeing this stuff come through. Yes, I understand the demand, but also, even with I did a project yesterday where if I can depend on you, drop a yellow heart.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people did not leave the heart, but it was a test of how. It's like suicide prevention, right? Like,
yeah,
I want to know that you got my back
if
anything was to go down. So that it was a little bit disheartening, but I didn't take it personally because it's like, you know what? People do this all day.
Bro, because I swear, I just tap.
Clicking through, and it's just like we lose touch with reality when we're all we're doing is taking in more and more and more and more information. When do we stop for a second and say, let me backtrack and see if they're okay?
Right, yeah.
Backtrack to see if this was a message that was for me.
Right.
And so that was actually like really powerful because I think we kind of went on a break around the same time. I think I just got back a little sooner than you. But going from 10 to 1 was really just like, I need this. And the only I went back into it is because my mother was making the face mask. And I was like, I have to use my platform to promote.
Good. Yeah.
You know, I can't be selfish in that moment because me having some sort of presence is going to help people be safe and get masks and things like that. So I think that was very powerful to be able to take a break from something and use it to create or to not create.
Yeah.
But even if you use it to not create anything at all, you probably came back from that with so many new ideas, like
girl, I did
go and write and make magic from.
Yeah, it was like the rejuvenation that I needed. I feel like everybody, even if you're not an entrepreneur, if you don't do anything, just take some time, and then you'll be so surprised about like how much your body really, your mind really needed it, and then you come out just this new person. Like, even though I'm of course trying to get into the process of not having to disappear like that and still get the same, help that I need. But like everything's a process, I'm one of those people that I seclude in order to get back right. Like, I need to go be by myself so that I could be, good enough to be around people and then to receive the energy that I want them to receive. So that may be a flaw, and like, in a sense, I don't know, but that's just kind of where I'm at.
If you're not separating yourself from people and you're seeping out this energy of negativity, because you're not perfect. Nobody's perfect. We go through things, and sometimes people expect you to just always be like up here, right? So you're around people and they're like, hold on, why isn't Shorty right here? Why is Busy being a bitch? Why is any of this happening? And then you're like, because I'm seeping,
right.
I can't fucking help it. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
It puts you to this place. So to separate yourself is probably one of the most powerful things you can do. And it happened to me too, which is why I took the break as well. You have to separate sometimes.
Yeah.
Because people were literally messaging me like, nobody wants to see that, Nitty. Why are you in your feelings? Why are you doing this? You're supposed to be positive. And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to just log off. Because
girl,
y'all gonna make this motherfucking horn turn into
wow. No,
because it's like, you don't understand that I'm human, So to make people understand, I just withdrew completely.
Yeah.
So now it's putting me into this place like, the things that I post now are different from what I was posting before. Like, I still post my little hot girl pictures and stuff like that, but I still put my quotes. I'm putting special longer length paragraphs. You know, I'm putting paragraphs now on my post. Read it if you want to. Don't read it if you want
Girl,
to.
yeah, because I don't
That's why
care.
media can be for meditation. You know, it can definitely be your outlet to do exactly what you want to do with it. You know,
Yep.
and she said, you know, Instagram stresses her out. Yeah, like
Girl,
it's
yes.
not a fun place, but what you can do, which is what I've learned to do. And I've seen Busy do it as well. It's just literally do what the fuck you want on it. Whether they respond to you or they don't respond to you, you're putting your content out because there are those people who are responding to you and who need you, who depend on you in a sense
Yep.
to bring them whatever it is that you are going through. Whether it's you putting on your eyelashes, videos. Oh, I just learned how to put lashes on. I just learned how to do a contour. You know, so this is something that I've watched you do.
Yeah.
That's something that I really commend you on, you know, and it has put me to be more of an advocate for the things that I do. As far as
Allow me to breathe and get into
videos. Oh, I just learned how to put lashes on. I just learned how to do a contour. You know, so this is something that I've watched you do.
Yeah.
That's something that I really commend you on, you know, and it has put me to be more of an advocate for the things that I do.
Yeah, because and I preach it all the time. I even put it, it's posted on my page as well, like the energy you give to the people that aren't supportive, or the people whom you expect to be at a 10 about your, accomplishments and everything, when really, they may not care. I understand how we may feel like, well, damn, like that's my sis, that's my bro, that's my cousin, that's my friend, that's my bestie, that's my uncle, that's my aunt. They should be 100% like I'm 100%. They should be all in like I'm all in.
Right.
And the sad truth is that is not the case. That is not going to be the case. I learned that lesson the hard way, and I learned it fast too, because I learned to not dwell on things. So I learned it fast, and I got over it fast because I didn't have time to sit and be sad because my friend didn't repost my post, because it still got the likes and the traction and the engagement from people who cared about it. So that's kind of like being selfish, because I'm worried about one person while all 30 of these people over here are clapping for me.
Exactly.
Like,
when
you don't get to enjoy it.
I want to know how you felt at your book signings. You know, like, who did you see at your book signings and how did that make you feel? Is this something that helped you to learn who's there for you and who isn't?
Yeah. My first book signing, I don't go into situations. I try not to, and I'm getting over this as well. I used to go into stuff with very low expectations, so that I wouldn't get disappointed if it didn't turn out like I wanted it to.
Right.
So around my first book signing, I was like, I know people gonna come, but it might not be 100 people there. Like, it might not be this big event, so I'll be okay if anybody comes. Like, that was kind of the mood I was in about it. And then when hundreds of people like started coming in, random people, literally like flyers everywhere, because I was really big. I wanted the outcome, but I tried to like humble myself, like, me if it don't happen, it don't happen.
Right.
But I did put in the work so that it could happen, and it did. Like, I got a great outcome. Lots of people I knew, people I didn't know, strangers and things like that. But like you said, I did pay attention to who was there and who was not there. And then I also try not to let my ego get ahead of me, and I take into account why they couldn't make it if they didn't make it, because sometimes I can't make it to things, and I don't want people to look at me like, oh, Mimi don't support me. No, Mimi had life to deal with, so she couldn't come. So that's what it was. So I tried to be fair in my account of who was there and who wasn't. But some people just don't have excuses. Some people just, they don't come. Like, they don't share the passion. They don't care for what it is that you got going on. And it's very telling of them. However, I had to subtract myself from those thoughts because I got all these people here clapping for me, hugging me, buying copies of
And
my
then you
book.
have yourself. You're clapping for yourself. So
Exactly. Yeah.
when I tell you living alone has changed my life in
Oh,
so
I know.
I wake up and I lay like this
Mhm.
in the X on my bed naked.
Mhm.
And
I
I
would
walk
too.
around naked. You know, titties not the most perky, but they there.
They're yours. Don't
And I have
care.
a huge mirror, right? And in this mirror, I write on it sometimes. And
Mhm.
I want to do like a unicorn gospel about it, you know, just about like writing the word ungrateful
Mhm.
on my mirror. It's a huge mirror. I love it. It's fat, big ass
Right.
mirror. Got it for $25, girl.
Period.
And I wrote ungrateful on it one day. And every day I looked at it, I wanted to feel what that word was making. When I looked in the mirror and I saw that, it's like, ugh.
Right.
I wanted to feel it. I wanted to know what it felt like to be ungrateful on a consistent basis.
Mhm.
So every day I would walk past it. Every time I had to walk past it, see this big thing, ungrateful,
Right.
on my mirror. And by over time, I would start to understand it when I was in public. You know, like if I was starting to feel a moment of yuckiness, I'm like, oh shit, this is what it feels like to be ungrateful.
Mhm.
Let me bring myself back to a place of understanding that it is what it is. You know, I'm
Yeah.
here, I'm breathing, and I'm producing the art that I want to produce to the world, regardless of the outcome. You know,
Yeah.
that's one of the strong points, and it's something that I do want, you know, this conversation to continue to lead into. It's just how you deal with just all of these adversities as a creative. You know, like you're a brown girl, the official Hizzy Brown. Like I love the name. You know, like you're a brown girl who is
Yes. It's Tuesday, May 12th, 2020.
a brown girl who is busting her ass to make her dreams come true.
Yeah.
What type of pressure does that term alone put on you? A
All of it.
girl making her dreams come true.
All the pressure. All the pressures you can think of. Like, and most of the pressure may be pressure I'm just putting on myself because I'm very strategic and critical of every move that I make because I know I'm smart enough to make the right move. So the moment that I mess up or move out of line, I'm like, damn, Mimi, come on, you could have did better. You know you could have did better. So then I'm on myself all the time. So in pursuit of this dream and this bigger picture that I have, um, a lot of the pressure is centered around being a being the like the photo chat, like the model for all black girls, model for all black writers, the model for all black female entrepreneurs. I'm trying to credit everybody in the appropriate way. I don't want to let nobody down. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to be the one black girl that didn't do it right. I don't want to be the one black girl that is in the tabloids for doing something and now the focus is on something completely different than
Right.
my career. Like I don't want to be that girl. So that's where the pressure is. I don't want to be the statistic. I don't want to be the fall off. I don't want to be that. So I'm doing everything in my power to make sure that none of that happens at all because I've seen it happen to a lot of girls with great potential. And, you know, life happens and things just don't work out for them. But that's probably the biggest pressure is making sure that being the poster child, first of all, I'm the only child. So I've been born with the pressure. So being the only child is like not the easiest career choice. But you know, I didn't choose it. It chose me. So I kind of have always had these pressures to be somewhat perfect because who else are you going to compare me to? I'm the only child. So like I had to be the child, the model child, the perfect child. So that kind of just fell over into what I do with my career. So I try to be clean cut. You know, I try to, but then I also want to pride myself on being me because I'm not perfect and I'm not clean cut.
And that honestly is what makes your art what it is. You know, that's what
Yeah.
makes your art is powerful, makes your words as powerful as they are. You know, I'm the big sister, so my age gap is 4 years with my sister, but her and the sister under her are like a year and a half apart. You know, so it really is me.
Yeah.
Up here, definitely not an only child, but sometimes you get to those places where you're like, okay, how can I be better for me, literally for you, because nobody is sitting there next to you saying that you're not worth it. You know, it's literally us telling ourselves this and allowing the people who don't support us to say it as well. You know, that's exactly what we're starting to think. It's like, oh, I'm not worth anything, right? Is what we tell ourselves, and then we're over here listening to that voice give us other voices like so and so think you ain't shit.
Yeah.
And it's like that might not even be the case. They probably just not thinking about or what you got going on.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's just I would say, at least with that, like when it comes to really just like defeating yourself, like beating yourself down and bringing yourself back up, you know, overall I think we just need to learn how to just consistently bring ourselves up. You know, it's okay to realize that things can go wrong, right? Like let's always be realistic about situations, but choosing your perspective of how you look at everything that you're doing is really, really going to change the dynamic. Like you can't see it, but right behind me is like a vision board or affirmation board. And, you know, on that is that your board too?
Yes.
Oh my God. Winning and winning. I love this. But, you know, I put all words. I didn't want to see anything but words. And it reminds me every day when I sit on this couch and lay down on it to just chill, it's like, who am I? Happenings are happening. Lighten up. Plans of action, you know, getaways, like everything on that board, restorative power. These are things I want to see in myself on a consistent basis. As a producer of creating, like I'm not really a writing type person. You know I'm not. I just like, you want to blog on my website? Look, I don't want to be that person, but, you know, what is a tip, you know, that you would give to someone as a creator? Because sometimes, you know, I've learned that I do have to write. I do have to and I did it for the first time. Well, not the first time, but for the first time in a while last week. And that post made me feel so good. It took me 2.5 hours. So what is a tip to you to keep people motivated to continue doing things like that? Because it's not an easy process.
Well, what you just said, you said it made you feel good. So
my fingers.
So remembering that it made you feel good will make you want to do it again. Anything that made you feel good at one point, no matter what it led up to you getting to that feel good moment, you remember the feel good moment. You don't really remember all the chaos. You remember, I felt good when I did that. So that's what I would tell, like, that's the advice I would give. Just try to focus on the feelings that you had when you were doing those things. Because sometimes I don't feel like writing. Like, so I don't even look at a pen or anything. Like, I'm like, oh my God, I don't want to write this today. And that's just because I'm human. Like, you don't always feel like doing what you like doing. You don't always feel like doing what you have to do. But I remember like the thrill, because I get those moments where I don't feel like writing, but then my mind has all these ideas and I'm like, I don't feel like writing them though. Like, but I still have all this, like, these stories in my head, and I'm like, okay, at some point I'm gonna feel like writing and it's gonna feel good. So I'm gonna wait right now. I don't want to write today, but maybe tomorrow, maybe next week, but eventually it's gonna happen because I know how it makes me feel. Like, that's something that I love doing. So if ever you get to a point where you feel like, I'm good, remember that. Like, just remember that feeling.